Well, I hope y'all's having a good Sunday. Today's Stag Sunday. We're going to showcase a pocket knife from the collection with stag handles. What you're looking at before you is a beautiful little knife. Hammered pins, hand ground blades, hand shaped pinch bolsters. And I believe to be a quality handmade piece from Sheffield. Really like the look of this knife. Not sure what pattern you would call this one. Maybe a sleeve board. Really like the worn cliff on this one. It's obviously never been sharpened or carried. It's been tucked away for years. It was in a collection that I bought of some older Sheffield cutlery, pocket knives, and really like the quality of the English made knives. But anyways, what you see here is a CX Lockwood Brothers Sheffield. Very nice fit. Swedging, no rubbing. I believe these to be stainless blades. Now, Lockwood Brothers name, it's pretty well known and kind of sought after by collectors, but there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially when you get into knife books. You have to cross-reference a lot, so let's kind of get into that and show you everything that's not true about Lockwood and the history. And this is Goins, CX Lockwood Brothers, Sheffield, 1849 to present. Now, 1849 might be when they really got into cutlery. We'll dive into that a little more. But they were around way before then. Located in Sheffield, England, this company uses the trademarks Real Pampa with a running ostrich stamped out on the blade. They were part of Joseph Elliot and Sons in 1953. That statement is not correct. That merger happened way earlier. This company was a manufacturer of Bowie type knives, among other kinds of cutlery. Shows you the Real Pampa symbol and the CX symbol. I believe around 1849 is when they actually started getting into making knives. Now we'll explore what Goins says about Joseph Elliot and Son, Sheffield, 1795 to present. Bought Lockwood Brothers about 1944. Let's see, Joseph Elliot shows the CX and the Pampa symbols, but 1944 is not correct. We'll refer to Levine's. Lockwood Brothers, not Lockwood Manufacturing, shows C plus X, Pampa, the bird, merged with Joseph Elliot and Sons, 1919. This is correct. Lockwood name last used 1933. Not correct, because Joseph Elliot continued using that trademark. So these dates, 1798 to 1933, are not correct. So I believe this to be a Joseph Elliot and Sons manufactured knife. Now, the CX Lockwood name, trademark, can be traced back to 1767. Joseph Lockwood was a file maker, broke out on his own and started his own company. And he had sons, and they had sons, and they married, when the family grew and split. And they kind of merged through one of the sons' marriage with a family named Sorby, and they were tool makers. So from 1776 through the early 1800s, Lockwoods were kind of pioneering capitalizing on some of the Industrial Revolution and steel, as making files and tools and other pieces of iron. And then around the 1849 mark, I think is when they really started getting into making knives and tools. And they really became more heavily or closely involved in cutlery around 1860 to 1865. Now the bird, the ostrich, the real pampa stamp really came out around 1862 because of German counterfeits that were making Lockwood Brothers knives and selling them cheaper. So they come out with another patented mark to show you that it actually come from the Lockwood Brothers and not from the German knockoffs. But they were pretty successful up until the late 1800s. The company slowly started to decline, and especially around the World War I era. And after World War I, around 1919, they merged with Joseph Elliot through the Sheffield Cutlery Manufacturers Ltd. And that wouldn't quite save them, and the dates are kind of thrown around about when Joseph Elliot bought Lockwood out, but everything I've found, it was actually 1927 when Joseph Elliot took over all the assets and the tooling and materials from the Lockwood Brothers. Joseph Elliot continued using the Lockwood trademarks up until 1972. Joseph Elliot sold to D.W. Slater of Herbert M. Slater, also known as Slater Brothers, and Jack Taylor of Dewsnap Bowler Ltd., a cutlery materials manufacturer. So the Slater Company went out of business around, or pretty much done making knives around 86. So I believe this Lockwood knife was made in the late 60s, early 70s by Joseph Elliot and Sons before the sellout to Slater. I can find no evidence of Slater making the Lockwood knives after they acquired Joseph Elliot. It's possible. Maybe there was some old stock laying around, but I cannot find any instance of a Slater-made Lockwood knife. So this is not an original Lockwood. This is not an antique Lockwood. Like I said, I'm going to date it late 60s, early 70s, to 72 when they sold. But still, a very cool knife with interesting history if y'all want to read up on the Lockwood brothers and Joseph Elliot. It's a good read, and I hope y'all have enjoyed this beautiful little knife for Stag Sunday. But anyway, there's my Joseph Elliot and Sons Lockwood stag handle pocket knife. This is Hillbilly Proud. Y'all have a good one.